Sweet Talk is a weekly 20-minute podcast brought to you by the Continuing Education Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. This podcast is part of our continuing outreach efforts, and the format is conversation. We're having conversations with businesses, professionals, entrepreneurs, community agencies, and in all cases, difference makers. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud. So subscribe today. Take 20 minutes and hear from people living in your community who are making a difference in your community. It's time to get started with Sweet Talk. Hello, everyone. This is Jason Batalden, the Assistant Director here at Continuing Education Workforce Training. Paul, you're on the show today. Glad to see you. Glad to have you.
Hi, Jason. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Hey, do we even want to talk about what happened today?
What,
or last
snow?
night? Yeah.
Snow? So for those listening, we are recording the second week of October, and it was snow last night, and I was woken up at 3:30 in the morning at having no power. I don't know why no power wakes me up, but it did.
Well, I woke up this morning to broken tree branches, but I guess when you live in Idaho, you have to get used to and ready for this early snow. And I'm definitely not complaining, but I had to dig my snow shovel out from behind a few, the lawnmower and the weed eater and the hoses, all the summer stuff. So I guess It's now in the front of the stack. Hey, I know when this episode airs, it'll be in November. So everybody will be like, Jason, why do we care about snow? But we just want to share this moment.
They'll care then. They'll care then.
Let's put a plug in though. We've got a spring catalog coming out next month in December. So please keep your eye open. It'll show up in your mailbox. It'll show up online. You'll get little email notification. We've got some exciting classes we're putting together for the spring. In fact, we're going to even talk a little bit about one of the classes that are new to us today on the show, but we definitely want to put that plug in and say, keep an eye out for the spring catalog in 2022.
Yeah. Around Thanksgiving time, right? Thanksgiving time. Yeah.
Well, I think right after Thanksgiving is when it'll hit your mailbox.
Excellent.
If I do my job right, it'll be that.
If you do your job right. People who have listened to us and seen the show kind of go, is Jason going to do his job right?
It may be a few days after that, but we'll get it out to you shortly. We've got two exciting guests on the show today, and we definitely want to introduce them. So we want to say we have Dr. Pavel Solin with NCLab. And he's going to tell us here a little bit about himself. And we also have another special guest, Aurora Tangaro. Sorry,
Tangaro.
Aurora. I practiced that.
Nice.
No, it could have been smoother.
Smoother.
If we were taking edits, we'd not do that. But I want to give the official welcome, and that official welcome knows we start the timer. And so, Pavel, please introduce yourself to our Sweet Talk audience and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jason. First of all, it's a great pleasure to be here with you. So my name is Pavel Solin, and I'm a professor of applied and computational math at UNR, University of Nevada, Reno. And I'm also the founder of NCLab. So I guess we'll talk about NCLab in more detail later.
Right on. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for that. And Aurora, you're on the show today too. So talk to us, just introduce yourself. Who are you? And tell us something exciting.
And why are you here?
No, well, we'll get to the why here in a minute.
Okay.
That's much more important. So my name is Aurora Tangaro. I live out here in West Wendover, Nevada, about 2 hours from Salt Lake. So we're getting some of that snow and wind too.
Oh, right on.
But so I'm a wife and a mom. I have a 6-year-old. But I'm also a data quality analyst for a company called Every. We do a lot in gaming, and then we do a lot in like the financial technology sector. So I get to work with a lot of data there.
Very cool.
Excellent.
Well, we have you on the show today because we want to talk about NCLab. This is a new partnership that we have here at ISU, Continuing Education Workforce Training, a new opportunity that we're providing our students. And we're excited about it. And I know you guys are absolutely excited about it. So Pavel, can you talk a little bit about NCLab, kind of what it is and what it does, and just give us the rundown?
Okay. So NCLab is a web platform, and maybe the only web platform out there which allows college level students to study at their own pace. So this is the, just if I am to say just one sentence, that's the sentence.
Right on. And so,
Okay.
yes, the specific programs that you offer are very specific too, right?
So NCLab offers a data analyst career training program and a Python developer career training program, as well as some more introductory programs, including computational literacy and visual and spatial reasoning. Can I explain a little bit the motivation, why NCLab is there? So look, I am an educator. I am a scientist, but I'm also an educator. And when I'm in classroom with my students, I have just maybe 20 opportunities to meet with them throughout the semester. I mean, 20 lectures, and imagine this whole amount of stuff needs to be chopped into 20 pieces and, told the students in 20 lectures. There is no more. So as a result, the students are getting a huge amount of new stuff every lecture. It's impossible that they can digest this, that they can get comfortable with one concept before going to the next one. It's like drinking from a fire hose, literally. Yes, and as a result, the students cannot absorb everything. It's impossible. They just, maybe the first 10, 20 minutes they follow, they get it, but then it becomes too much. Too many new things at once. So for the rest of the lecture, they sit and they, take notes, but they are not learning. So I was always frustrated by this. And I told myself, okay, is there any tool which would allow students to go slower if they need to practice one concept before going to the next one so that they don't get lost, so that they can feel comfortable all the time? And there was nothing. So I created one.
Very cool. That's
excellent. Excellent.
I love that.
Thank you for that.
And so that's sort of what inspired NCLab, was to provide a learning platform where students could learn the concepts at how they learn best and most efficiently.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Can I give you one example? My favorite example. Look at a climber, who is climbing the mountain. Okay. They don't jump 10 levels at a time. They go very slow so that they can hold on to everything and be safe and go up, but that's not what the traditional education is doing. The traditional education tells you, oh, see you in the next 200 meters up on the wall.
Right. Very cool. That's a great analogy. And so, Aurora, you're kind of, you chose NCLab for you and to get the training to move on in your career. So I'm just going to be the kind of naive one over here a little bit, but a data analyst. I mean, I understand the words. I know what data means and I know what analyst means. I have no idea what that means as a job and a career. So can you talk a little bit about what that is, why you were maybe attracted to that, and how NCLab sort of helped you move forward in that career choice?
Sure. So I'm a data quality analyst, and so we mainly work in it's called data governance. So I kind of come at data. There's a lot of different branches that have to do with data, right? And I'll give you a little background. So I was a database administrator and report developer, and did a lot in that end of things. And then I actually came across NCLab, did some of the classes in there, and moved on and became a business intelligence analyst. Database administrators have a lot to do with kind of building the database, maintaining it, keeping it protected, and working properly. And then business intelligence has a lot more to do with kind of looking at all the data and putting pieces together to tell a story so that business executives and others in the company can look at these, reports, something black and white in their hand that makes sense, because there's so much data you have to be able to bring it all together to tell that story. Data quality analysts, we kind of encompass a lot of those areas, and we don't have to have as much in-depth knowledge, but we have to be able to bring together different roles that have to do with data and get them to work together so that we can come up with standards and definitions and explain how we're going to use certain pieces of information.
Oh, wow.
That was a very concise explanation. Thank you so much.
I'm terrible at being succinct, so I'm trying here.
No, that was great. So you were in this field, as you mentioned before, but at some point you came across where you realized you needed some additional training, or?
Yeah, so I was, as a database administrator and report developer, I kind of realized that I wanted to move and take a next step in my career. And so I applied for a position as a data engineer, and it was actually like a level like 2 or 3 position. So it was a more senior level. I interviewed, and a question came up, and it turns out I did not quite have the technical skills that I needed for it. So I kind of tail between my legs and went back, but I don't give up there because I wanted to still take that next step. Right. And so I'll tell you this much, like NCLab's amazing because I have a bachelor's in math and I have a bachelor's in digital information technology. So I have a background, in those fields, but I still needed to level up my skills to move forward. You can do degree programs, but you're always going to have to upskill. And NCLab is perfect for that upskilling. It fits into your schedule, and the way that you meet those little goals as you go, it's a great way to break it up into time that you can manage. So I came across that and I was sold right away. I read it, signed up, and I, started taking those classes and realized, maybe data engineering isn't the direction that I want to go. Maybe analytics is more where I want to head. And, I guess, I would say God has some good timing too, because the company that I interviewed with, they called me back and said, hey, you didn't quite have the skills we needed for the data engineer position, but we have a business intelligence analyst role. Would you interview for that? And interviewed, and I got to tell them, hey, I'm even taking some classes on data analytics right now. And they're a company that really appreciates training and upskilling, as many companies are. Right. So I ended up getting the position. I worked with them for about a year. Some other things didn't quite work out. The housing market in Utah was nuts. So I ended up not wanting to go back in office for a role. Yeah. And I ran across Every, and being a data quality analyst allowed me to take all those things that I learned, both with my education, with NCLab, and with the job positions that I had held prior, and was able to bring that all together and to work as a data quality analyst. And NCLab has really helped teach me how to speak more of the language of those data scientists and to be able to understand what they're doing so that I can kind of help translate for the business people.
Oh, very cool.
Excellent.
Very cool.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So which courses did you take with the company NCLab?
So I'm doing I did the data analytics, the data analyst career path.
And Pavel had said that these are self-paced courses. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So it's what's so nice about it is, you get in there and it's broken up into, for example, my classes have all been, there's 3 units, and then there's, I think about 15 sections in each unit. And as you're working through those units, you're, as Pavel said, you're climbing up the mountain, but you're able to stack, I learned this. And then the next lesson takes what you learned and stacks another piece into it and another piece. So you kind of get to fit all these puzzle pieces together until you get the big picture and understand what you're looking at in the end.
So it's
you're not expected.
Okay, so it's like a progressive program.
Yeah.
Each part builds and builds and builds until you reach the top of that mountain, Pavel.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, and Pavel, it sounds like that was your intent by building NCLab, was creating it to work that way. And data analytics is not the only program you offer. Is that correct?
Yes, we have more.
What?
We have more. We have a range of topics, and there is increasing demand for this kind of instruction, because students realize, like, why should I sit for 75 minutes, out of which for 40 minutes I don't know what's going on. I can use this time more efficiently,
right,
by actually working through the stuff and learning. So I can tell you, it's incredibly satisfying for me to be able to help people to learn better.
right. Well, we heard from Aurora too, that there is a demand for these specific skills in the job market. That's probably something you're very aware of too, Pavel. I mean, there is that one side of education, right, is where we want to teach skills and help students learn. But there's that other side, is these skills have to be applicable. And I think you probably are finding that to be true. What was the motivation as well?
Absolutely. One of the things that happens to you when you learn with NCLab, you work all the time. Little by little, simple things, but you work all the time. You don't just listen or watch a video, because that would not give you the practical experience. So when you are done, like Aurora with this data analytics program, you have written hundreds of SQL queries, and you analyze data with Python. So you have this hands-on experience, and during an interview, you can talk with people who will interview you, and they will see that know your stuff. You did it. Yes, that's a big, yeah.
So Aurora, you took the program, and it is a self-paced program. So what kind of pacing did you do? Did you like dive in, or was something that you stretched out over time? And was that a welcome thing, or did you ever feel any pressure about your time, or exactly? Tell me how you took the approach the self-paced program.
So I really like that they really do give you plenty of time to work through it. So, but you do have to have some self-discipline, right? So, so the SQL courses that I had, they go through PostgreSQL, which was a new flavor of SQL for me. So I was able to breeze through those because the concepts are the same, but I really enjoyed getting to learn, some of those differences in the syntax between, the like Microsoft T-SQL, and I've done a little bit with MySQL, but Postgres was something new. So I enjoyed, I kind of rushed through those ones, but it gave me a good taste of, okay, these are different SQL languages, but they conceptually work the same. So I breezed through those ones pretty fast. But once I got to the Python, I started working a little bit slower through those. And then I had a job transition in the middle there too that kind of slowed me down.
Sure.
But
it sounds like a move too in the middle of it too. Getting out of Utah, right? Or had you already done that?
We were going to move, and then with housing markets going crazy, I'm like, I'll stay in Nevada.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I got you.
So, yeah, there was definitely some searching though for homes. So yeah, we had a lot of stuff going on then. I had a while where I was commuting to Salt Lake daily, which is about 2 hours. So it was a 4-hour commute for me. Yeah. But this program, if I was taking a college class, my professor's not going to say, "Oh, you're in the middle of a job change. Don't worry, you can put off your homework for a month." But with NCLab, you can, and the navigation in it is very simple, and I could go back and say, it's been a month. Let me go back to section 13 and flip through those pages and see what I was doing, and they record when you answer when you program your query in or your program, it saves it in there for you. So you can go back and see, oh, that's how I did that. And then you can run it and see right there the results. So I was able to go back and do my review and then get right back, jump right back into it and get where I left off.
So would you say the self-paced program allowed you to, actually finish the program? Because if you had time restrictions, you might have possibly dropped off.
Yeah, if it had been a college class, that would have been one where I would have had to say, I'm going to have to take it incomplete here or switch it off. But with this, because it does have that self-paced, yeah, I was able to jump right back in. And if I have questions or need any help, It's very easy to get a hold of her. Name's Sheila, and she's amazing. And
Right on.
I've only had to call her and talk to her a few times, but they check on you throughout too.
Very
You know, in
good.
college you have your advisor, but this, they have someone that checks on you and says, "Hey, how's it going? Do you need any help?"
So
Nice.
Pavel, who I mean, Aurora has given us a great example of, I would say, Aurora, like the modern day student, right? And I'm serious. I mean, that's the way, that's kind of what we're getting used to, right? That we get the skills and the education while we're in the midst of life, so to speak. But Pavel, can you talk a little bit, who would want to take this program? Who is this program designed for?
Okay, so these programs are designed for many, many, many different people. You can look at a high school student who is just finishing high school. Maybe they don't want to go to college. Maybe they'd like to start a career.
Mm-hmm.
So we provide a complete career training program, say in data analytics, in Python development. And those are very, very high demand skills and very well paid. Plus you can work remotely. So that's the paradise for you. You can, sit in Idaho and work for somebody in Silicon Valley. You don't care. And it's very well paid.
Good.
So the other group of people is maybe like Aurora, who would like to improve their careers. They don't necessarily want to completely change the job, just upskill, do something more interesting, get better paid. Or then there are people who would like to change their careers completely. And I don't know, Jason, if you are aware of this, you certainly are. There are so many new job opportunities which will happen with automation. Mm-hmm. Like everybody is talking, people are replaced by machines, it's a bad thing, But the other angle you can take is, there are so many new opportunities for people who'd like to learn.
Right.
So that's why we have this computational literacy program, which teaches you how machines think.
Right.
So, and this opens a whole new door for you.
Right on. So the students obviously need to be a little bit inclined into, I appreciated your bachelor degree, Aurora, in math. You said your bachelor's degree was in math, and I thought, I can't even spell math. But but good for you. But again, so this is kind of geared for that student who is interested in those in field, in computing, in math, and this allows them to get some very tangible skills that can be put to work and making an income in a relatively short amount of time. Because how long does it take? What is the program designed in lengthwise? I know it's self-paced, but there still is kind of an idea of how long the program takes. How long does the program take to get through, or what's it designed for, Pavel? Do you know?
Sorry, I thought you were asking Aurora. So in fact, the programs are quite short, 160 hours. So we have Data Analytics 1, Data Analytics 2, we have Python Developer 1, Python Developer 2, and they are just 160 hours. Mm-hmm. And the computational literacy course is 160 hours as well. And I'd like to tell you one thing, because I feel some aversion to math, okay?
Really?
All right, really? I'm not alone.
I know, and that's the problem, okay? And you know what we have? We know this. And we know that it's a much bigger problem to actually convince a person they can do it. Because then if they decide, if they change the mindset, they can do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we have a short, like 2 hours assessment, which is fun. It has no math, zero math. Yes. And in 2 hours, you just work through some stuff, and you will see if you might enjoy it. And, and this is for everybody to take. Even if you don't want to be a programmer, my wife took it. She will never be a programmer. She doesn't want to. But, it shows you like, because you are guiding a little virtual robot, and you get the feeling for how it feels to talk to a machine instead of a human person. Because machines are dumb. They are dumber than your dog. Yes, you need to speak precisely. They will not. They don't have any feelings for you. Sorry to say.
That's
Yes.
right.
No,
You
they
need
don't.
you need to get some mindset, and once you can get it, it's exciting because then the machine will do exactly what you tell it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
guess what happened that nobody else heard? Our timer went off, Paul.
I had one
Remember,
more
because
question.
I had a timer and machines are dumb. And for some reason it said I wasn't getting any sound.
So I have a question for Aurora, though. You mentioned that you had a check-in call. Basically, someone from NCLab called you and just say, "How is things going?" And that kind of struck me, the fact that a lot of online programs, you sign up and you start doing work, and there's sometimes you'll never have interaction with a person. Sometimes you feel like you've enrolled and you're going through the thing all by yourself, and really no one cares whether you complete or not. That struck me that it was kind of nice that someone called to check in.
Every month. Every month she does.
And that's great, because sometimes I part of my job here is I coordinate the apprenticeship programs for electrical, HVAC, and plumbing, and I will check in with my students, and I think sometimes they just need to know that someone cares whether they succeed or not.
Right.
Because they're out there, you're out there on your own, especially when you're online, and you don't know whether someone cares other than you if you succeed or not. And that phone call just once a month, just checking in, I think that's a big deal. I think that is a big deal.
Yeah, to me, it proved like this wasn't, Pavel's like, I want to make some quick money and threw something together. This was, he and his staff truly care about their students, and they do want to help, people take that next step. And, so it's priced to allow pretty much anyone to be able to afford it. And then the staff cares, and they get a hold of you and ask, how's it going? Do you need any help getting to the next step? Are you stuck? And, you even have chat options in the program if you need help with a problem, and they're very quick to respond. So it's made to help students succeed. It
Excellent.
really is.
Excellent. Cool. Now, Pavel, I know that we're going to be offering your course in our catalog, in the next catalogs coming up. But if someone wanted to actually get a hold of NCLab directly, how would they do that?
I would recommend them to go to nclab.com. It's the easiest way. And then you can read about our programs. And, I'd like to thank Aurora. You just said it, we want students to be successful.
Yep.
That's the only thing that we want.
Very cool. And by the way, you can also check out, if you have questions, we are offering NCLab. We are partnering with NCLab to offer these programs and these opportunities to our students. So you can be sure to check it out on our website, cetrain@isu.edu. And be sure to just type in the search menu NCLab, and it'll take you right to the registration. And we're registering for this class starting in November. So when you hear this podcast, check it out. Get
please.
Right on. And we'll be offering courses. It's on a schedule, and you'll see that on our website. Go to NCLab, you get the same information. Just look at the ISU CE Train or Suite option and click on that, and you'll get there right too. So, hey, we're really excited to have you guys on the show today, and thank you. It was a very inspiring conversation. I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you so much, Aurora. Thank you for your story. I really appreciate it.
And so again, you email us at cetrain@isu.edu. Look us at our website at cetrain.isu.edu, or you can call us. Here we go, Paul. Can I remember? 208-282-3372.
There you go.
I think I've done it like twice in a row now. I never get the phone number right. So, hey, thank you guys for being on the show.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.